What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we got a ton to talk about. We gotta talk about playoff Pixbar Region and Sage just being a freaking god. We gotta talk about the new Riot mobile app, map bans. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. But first, go to the GameLeap website. If you want to dominate this next act, you need all the in-depth map guides, agent courses, and much more. But let's just jump right in the video. Now, the first thing that we need to break down is the playoff Pixbar Region using this graph. Now, while this graph is really shoddy, makes no sense. The fact that the number 2 when it's on a graph is like half of 10 when it's on a graph, that doesn't make any sense. But really just pay attention to the numbers and specifically the Sage pick rate on EMEA. Look at the freaking giant amount of pick rate she has. It is absolutely ridiculous. For whatever reason, especially Europe, Sage is just a cracked out pick, and that is incredibly interesting and is going to be something that we need to analyze as we go forward to the land that is about to happen. Well, you know, Sense is going to take it down, but if you want more in-depth coverage of that, definitely go check out the GameLeap website down below with all in-depth guides and much more. Now, moving on to the next story that I wanted to talk about, it's about the new Valorant mobile app, and this is actually really freaking cool. So basically, Riot is launching their brand new app that is going to support all their major games, and you're going to be able to do things like look at player profiles, chat with people across game and across region, find your friends and start conversations for those of you who have friends, unlike me. And you're gonna be able to really just get a lot of news updates and different things like that. So it's definitely a really cool app that has a lot of potential. And I think as a good way to like see what your buddies are doing, they're playing in a game, you can be like, hey, I'm about to play, I'm about to hop on, you want a duo or whatever the case may be, and get all your friends off of League of Legends because that game is absolute trash and tell them to come over to Valorant. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool and it's going to be something that Riot is probably gonna keep developing going forward. Now, for the next story we wanted to talk about, I actually wanted to give a special shout out to MrToes himself, formerly known as the Parkinson's guy. Actually was a guy on TikTok that I've been watching for the longest time, and he really reached immortal with his new diagnosis, which is essential tremors, which causes his aim to be very shaky. He still reached immortal. And it's just so phenomenal and honestly inspiring that someone that is just not on the same playing field, just has some fundamental disadvantages, if I'm being honest, is able to work through them with hard work and effort and still climb to such a high rank. That's just like, it deserves props, honestly. It's really, really cool and definitely someone that I think everyone should support. He's just freaking awesome. Now for the last thing that we need to talk about, it's a Riot post that absolutely blew up, and it was a question that I think a lot of people have been having, and it said, can Riot do something to prevent queuing into the same map again? This guy said, I just played 5 games of Ascent in a row and getting pretty annoyed on playing the same map over and over again. Now, there are a lot of people that really have thrown out all kinds of different things, but the biggest thing that everyone needs to understand is there is actually an update in the past that we had that made it less likely to get the same map in a row, right? This is definitely something that exists, but here's the problem. If people are capable of getting the same map 5 times in a row, it is not unlikely enough. In my personal opinion, you should absolutely never get the same map more than twice in a row, or just make it impossible after a certain point. Like, imagine if you get a map, like you get Ascent, to get it again, you are like 50% less likely to get it, or something like that, or 2x less likely. And then you go on to, after you play it that time, then you have like maybe a very astronomically low percent chance, or just give you no chance to get it more than twice. Because I think that this happens way too often, and it's incredibly frustrating. That being said, I think the big elephant in the room that keeps coming up is, why do we not have map picks and map bans? Because this is something that a lot of games have, or we could just vote for the map that we want, like it just pops up a couple options and you get to vote. Now, there are 2 big problems with this right now. The first one that people bring up is the people that design those maps are just gonna go into a corner and cry. And honestly, if you designed Icebox, you should cry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Icebox is a fine map, but I think that that is a stupid reason to not have it in. Like, if a map is not wanted to be played, then don't make people play it. But I really think that the second reason is the more important one, which is there's not enough maps. With only a limited map pool, it's really hard to justify this kind of system, because then people would just be playing the same maps over and over again. And if you personally don't like a map, but it keeps getting voted on again and again, that could be incredibly frustrating. And I think for now, just having it to where you can't get a map more than twice in a row, and you're already very unlikely to get it even twice in a row, that is probably a really good solution. But map bans is definitely something that needs to be in the conversation down the line. I think it's going to be a much more effective way to have people just play maps that they like to play, and some maps that people really don't like to play, just see less play overall. I think that's perfectly fine. Not everyone's gonna agree with me, but I really want to know your opinion about this in the comments down below. Do you want map picks and bans? Is there any map you want to freaking delete? I want to know your opinion about all that. But go to the GameLeap website for in-depth advanced tips, tricks, guides. We got it all on the GameLeap website, and you really need it to just dominate. So go check it out right now down below. But thank you so much for coming by. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I love your faces, and I'll see you next time.